No Fall Out Boy fans out there. Hi. Yeah! We are many.
Hooray!
Woo! The crowd goes wild. Hello, I'm Ellen. Nice to be here. I am playing Dane, who is a 25-year-old mouse. Who's yeah, he's a young, brave buck.
Hello, that's me. I'm Chris. I'm playing the character Quinten. Quinton.
Quinten.
Is that the
Quinten.
Quinten.
Yeah, Quinton. He's a mouse as well. We're playing a mice game. Did you not get the memo? Yeah.
Oh, I am not playing a mouse. I'm playing a guard, so I'm the other end of the spectrum. You can either be mice or guards. No, I am playing the character of Robin, who is significantly younger. Robin is 17 years old.
Ah.
Yeah, he's a tender paw, like me. And that's me. Oh, you do have the physical copy. That's dope. Yeah, great.
Just like a mouse.
Hey.
Hey.
Weasels.
Ugh.
Phil, sorry to interrupt you, but I've got a comment here saying I don't know if we're not supposed to be able to hear Phil.
Oh. It's an interesting choice that we've made, otherwise.
Michael in chat, can you hear the three of us? Can you hear Chris, Ellen, and Sean?
Hello.
Or is it just Phil that you can't hear? Michael in chat, can you hear the three of us? Can you hear Ellen and Sean? Or is it just Phil that you
And now I hear Sean echoing.
Yeah,
I can't hear Phil.
Yeah, so I'm just going to wait to hear what, because I heard that I was just asking the question there. So sorry to anyone listening to Advance, where you're going to have this brief period where we're trying to figure out what we have already figured out in real time. But yeah, fine.
Hello.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Hello.
Let's just.
So Michael can hear all three of us, but
you should be able to hear me now.
All right, Michael, just let us know in chat if you can now hear Phil.
Lay down some hot beats, Phil.
Yo, it's me, Guy, who is doing the hosting. I can hear you now. Cool.
Yay!
Skip to this point in the video. You won't know how to do that. Anyway, back to the beginning. Welcome to Rollcast with me, Phil. This I'm always messing something
You
up
got it.
technically. Always something messing up technically. So yes, here we are. They've introduced themselves, which is great. This is our monthly show where we take turns to host, play a different game. We make 3 choices, and our patrons choose a game out of our choices. They chose Mouse Guard. That's great. I love Mouse Guard. What is Mouse Guard? Mouse Guard is a game based on Burning Wheel and the comics of David Peterson. Looks like this, and is to do with the heroic Mouse Guard who defend mouse territories from the threats of animals, mice, and the elements themselves, and sometimes even weasels. So the mice in this world are mouse-sized, and everything else is big. They're only humans, and yes, mice are still very much mice and use their wiles and their wits and their heroism to protect all of mousekind. Why the guard exists? Why we love them?
Yeah.
We do love them.
Can I
You
just
love
a
them.
very quick, like, going round? Who here has owned mice as kids? Because I owned rats. I never owned mice.
I had 2 mice. One of
Right.
them was a wild one that I caught with
Oh,
my
gosh.
bare hands. And I
His
forced
mouse family missed him.
no, because I'm fairly sure the
You
rest
killed
of the
the rest of
family.
them. Oh.
No, it was at my mum's school, and they were like gonna kill this little mouse, and
Oh.
I literally was like, no.
No, it's
And
not.
like, who was gonna argue with 6-year-old me holding a
Oh,
live
hell
mouse in my
no.
hand?
I
Oh,
barely
hell no.
argue with 26-year-old you.
Exactly.
That's right. In other news, Ellen is the patrol leader. We'll get
Yes,
to that.
sir.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. What I will take you through is some basic elements of the rule, both
Yes.
from home and to help along.
To me.
Particularly Sean, who hasn't played before. The other 2 I have done a quick game of this before with, but obviously only once. A little unusual in terms of game. It's not powered by the apocalypse again, so we'll bring everyone up to speed. So I'll take you through a little bit of Mouse Guard. So the basic rules of Mouse Guard are the hearing the most, using a pool of D6s. And
Which 6s?
D6s.
Uh,
Yes, so these 1 to 3 are cowards, 4 to 6 are heroes, successes. So I'll be setting an obstacle or your versus a mouse or creature, and you have to meet that obstacle with a number of successes. If you fail, either I introduce a twist or I will allow you to succeed, but I will impose a cost, and that cost usually comes in the addition. Next to every game, they have these health. The mice's health, as they don't have damage points or anything. Hungry, thirsty, angry as a result, and that later fine. So there's a basic rule. Rolling. Dice will be using will be basically maths involved. You just count. Very handy for me.
Matt,
I know, right? Chris is like, oh.
I want more.
I love math. I love it so much.
So one thing I'm going to highlight from your abilities very quickly. Mice have the abilities nature, will, health, resources, circles. But I will just cover nature and a bit more. Nature.
Just before you do, Phil, I apologize. We've just had a comment from someone in chat, Karma. Hi, Karma, saying that Phil's audio is cutting in
Audio's cutting in
and
there?
out.
I wonder
Yeah.
if my noise gate's a bit too aggressive.
yeah, Michael's
turn it
saying I
off.
think it's noise
I'm just gonna
cancellation.
Turn the noise gate off. That's fine.
Yeah,
You can
let
just
all the
hear
noise
every
through.
noise that I make, and keep my mic close to my face.
Thanks,
so yeah,
everyone, for
thank
the
you
comments, and
for
let us know about the
troubleshooting.
integrity of the health of the stream if things like that happen again.
Yeah,
We are
Yeah.
but
please
lowly
do.
mice. We need your help as technicians.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right. So I'll just highlight mouse nature. So every creature in the Mouse Guard world has a nature, and mouse nature runs from 1 to 7. Closer to 7, the more mousy you are, and the closer to 1, the more human you are. Now, nature for mice covers 4 aspects, and that is climbing, hiding, foraging, and escaping.
Mm.
Now, if you're doing one of those 4 activities, you can always use nature with no penalty. You can just grab those nature dice and be like, I'm rolling with my nature, because it's just mousy to do so. But you can also call on your mousy nature for any roll that you want. It's a reserve of personal strength.
Nice.
But if you do that, again, for something that isn't one of those 4 aspects, and you fail, your nature will be reduced somewhat. So you risk some of your mousiness by drawing on it in something that isn't one of those 4 aspects.
And it's reduced by how much you fail the roll by. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. And if you kind of reduce your nature completely, then you become somewhat strange to mousekind. You become too unmousy. The final thing you can do is spend one of your persona points. You'll start with 1 persona point, 1 fate point. And this is very powerful. You can do something called tapping your nature, where you take your whole nature score and you add that many dice to your roll on top. And again, you can do this anytime, but again, if you fail, you will tax your nature as well. So if you can do this and do it twice. So if you're doing an escape and you roll with your nature 6, and then you're like, I'm going to tap my nature as well, and you roll 6 more dice, that's fine. Mice escaping are extremely difficult to catch. It's just how a mouse is.
I've tried.
I will highlight nature rules because they're very, very powerful.
Cool.
Okay. There are a bunch of skills. Those represent the number of dice that you're going to use. And the other thing we'll cover is I've talked about conditions, and we'll talk quickly about the structure, and that'll lead us into traits, and then we can basically get underway.
Great.
So the structure, Mouse Guard happens in a very defined structure. So it happens in 2 turns. The GM's turn and then the player's turn. This is a bit unusual for role-playing games, but we'll get used to it. The GM's turn, I will be taking narrative control and be leading the players from obstacle to obstacle. They have a very defined mission that they have to complete, and I'll set them on that path and put the obstacles in front of them. They can choose, how they tackle said obstacles, what skills they want to use, who's going to take which roles, that sort of thing. But they can't initiate the action until the player's turn. Player's turn begins when they reach a safe haven or a bit of downtime in the mission, or if they complete their mission outright. Okay? The amount of things that the players can do in their turn is defined by how many checks they've earned during my turn. Everyone starts with 1 free check, but to do more stuff and get more stuff done in their turn, they need to earn more checks. And they do this by getting in their own way, using their abilities. Now, their abilities are using their traits, my apologies. Their traits are little factoids about themselves, little aspects of themselves that they can use to help or hinder themselves. Once per session, they can use a trait to add a die to their roll. But if they choose to remove a die by saying, my wise mouse hesitates in this moment of high excitement and combat, and they remove a dice from themselves, that earns them a check. And the check means they can do more stuff like recover, or even, court a comely mouse that they meet in town.
Buy things!
Buy things, anything they desire in their own turn. That's completely up to them, but they will have to get it in their own way. They can even hand 2 dice to their opponent and earn 2 checks. Or if they end up in a tiebreaker, they can use a trait to tiebreak in their opponent's favor and earn 2 checks as well. This is very important, so we'll just highlight this beginning, because the player turn can fall a little flat if you don't get in your own way and earn your own checks. It's about taking those flaws of your character and finding the limits of your heroism and pushing past those flaws. Thematically, your greatest strength is also your worst flaw as well, as you take it to the extreme. Sean, as you're the most newbie, is there anything that you think I should also cover?
Can I just get a quick clarification on one thing? So the idea is that generally a session of play is divvied between those 2 things, which is the player's turn and the GM's turn.
Yes.
So the player's turn encompasses everything to do with the mission. So it means you're setting it up, you give us the obstacle, and we react. Yes. And we react and role play and engage and fight and do whatever, all the while putting things in our way potentially to earn those checks. and the checks we only then use in the player's turn, which is almost like the aftermath. Like you're in a safe place, you've finished the mission, now you can focus on the mice's lives and what they want to do and following their. Wow, that plural really got away with me there.
To a degree.
The mice's lives. But yes,
say
gives
that
like conflict and then aftermath sort of thing.
Yeah,
Is that
say
right?
you reach a safe haven or a bit of downtime in the mission, and you wanted to rally popular support for some sort of mission, some sort of approach to the mission. Say you needed all the townspeople in a place that you're defending to gather as a militia. You might do that in the player's turn. You might say, I'm going to make an orator check and try and encourage all the mice to take up arms and fight off the badger, right?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily aftermath or downtime. It's more you being proactive in your turn to influence what happens in the next GM's turn. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. And then my only other question is, can you do rolls for things that you don't have points in? For example, I would have 3 in fighter, but I've got none in, say, healer or hunter.
Yes. So 2 rules for that. You can always use nature for any role. So you can always substitute your nature if it's if it risks being taxed, if it's against those 4 aspects: climbing, hiding, escaping, or foraging. But if you do that, you can't learn new skills. If you want to learn a new skill, you can try anything you want, and you use your health or your will, depending on if it's a physical or a mental task. You halve your dice, and then you roll. And that's how you you learn a new skill as well. You try that a number of times up to your nature rating, and you will learn that new skill once you meet your nature rating. So if you have a low nature and you're more human-like, you'll learn skills faster, but you have less of a nature reserve to pull on when you're trying to be more mouse-like.
I am very human as a mouse.
Well, it makes you able to learn quicker. Yeah.
And then I think the only thing I would highlight is worth noting that as we are using traits to hinder or ourselves, we can only use those traits once in a session, I do believe. Especially because we're all level 1 for our traits, I believe.
Yes, positively. You can use them negatively as many times as you like.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Negatively as many times, positively once. Great.
Yep. You can check that off. Cool. You learn by doing, but we'll cover that as we go.
Yeah.
Before I begin narratively, it's time to take the oath. You raise your right paws and repeat after me. We, as Guard, offer all that we are.
We
as
God
offer all that we are.
Excellent. I love it with the delay. It's perfect.
I thought as much.
To protect the sanctity of our species.
Protect the
sanctity of our species.
The freedom of our kin.
The
freedom of our kin.
And the honor of our ancestors.
And the honor of our ancestors.
With knowledge, sword, and shield.
With
knowledge, sword, and shield.
We do these deeds.
We do these deeds.
Never putting a lone mouse above the needs of all.
Never putting a lone mouse above the needs of all.
Or the desire of self above another.
Or the desire of self above all others.
We strive for no less than to serve the greater good. Sorry.
We strive for no less than to serve the greater good.
Excellent. That is the oath
raise your swords, brothers.
This is the oath you all took upon joining the Guard.
Hooray! We did an oath.
We're well, Pedro. We're well. Welcome.
Thought that was just part of the oath.
That's right.
We are well.
Winter has gripped the mouse territories in its icy claws. Smells have been crisp and bright in the nose. All of the territories have lain under a white blanket of snow. The birds have fled south, and many of the creatures have lain dormant for the cold months. Not so in Lockhaven. In the heart of the Mouse territories, the castle is the home of the guard, and they do not spend the winter idle. They make and mend, and they teach and train, ready for their duties to resume in the spring. Spring is upon us. A riot of green is starting to break through the snow. Snow and rain are becoming in equal measure as the days lengthen, and the guard begin to form patrols, ready to resume their duties as the weather warms. And it is in this flurry of activity that Gwendolyn, the matriarch of the Mouse Guard, begins summoning the patrols to her map room. This particular patrol has been formed from Dane, Quentin, and Quentin's tender-paw ward, Robin. Dane, with his white cloak.
Oh, I didn't get it. Oh, hang on.
Lovely, got your white cloak.
Ha ha ha! Excellent.
And Quentin with his fiery red cloak, and Robin, whose cloak has not yet been earned.
No.
Should you acquit yourself? Should you acquit yourself well this season? You will be given your cloak. Chosen. The color will be chosen by your mentor, Quentin, and then you will be officially a member of the guard. But for now, you are under the eye and tutelage of Quentin still.
Okay.
So Gwendolyn pulls you into the map room. Brave Mouse, come. Dane, Quentin, I know that you are not yet given the rank of patrol leader, but I must nominate you. Dane, I wish you to take on the leader of the patrol for this year's duties, because Quentin, you will have your hands full, and keeping your eyes sharp, looking after Robin and assessing them ready for their possible promotion come winter. I am sorry to send you out so early in the season. I know that the thaw has not yet fully set in, but there is some troubling news that cannot wait. Because this troubling news actually comes from before the winter. The town of Sandmason, a few days' journey to the east, was due to send us some glass jars before the end of fall. But they never arrived, and we never heard from them before winter closed in. I will send you with some wax packed on one of our hearty beetles to trade for the glass jars that we so sorely need. But while you are there, see if they are in need of assistance and what has become of the residents of Sandmason. I fear the worst, but I hope for the best. Once you have acquired the jars, return to Lockhaven and we will give you further instructions. I must insist that you strike out with all haste.
You said you feared the worst. What would be the worst?
Well, in the winter, who knows what could have befallen the town? A beast as likely as snow to decimate the poor town of Sandmason, but we must do as mouse guards do and go and try our utmost.
Excellent. Take what you need, but please make haste before the day's end. Now is the time for you have your mission, so we're going to look at your beliefs and write your goals, and then we will get underway as well. So everybody has a belief that is going to come into play, and they'll get rewards at the end if they play to these beliefs. So Dane, we'll start with you, patrol leader. What's your belief?
My belief is that reason is the best guide to right action.
Excellent. Now, one person must write their goal to be the mission itself. I suspect that's going to have to be you as the patrol leader.
I am the patrol leader, and I must shoulder that burden.
So
my goal will be to...
Yes. Tell me how you're going to phrase your goal.
Well, my goal is to get the glass jars from the town of Sandmason and return home.
Excellent. And what's your instinct?
My instinct is to check the weather early each morning.
Excellent. That'll
It's
come into play.
fierce mild.
We'll make sure we'll come...
Do a weather watch check.
Yes.
Yes.
Quentin, what's your belief?
My belief is that all possibilities should be explored for the well-being of the guard.
Excellent. You gotta take in all possibilities. Now, I want you to make a goal that can be accomplished this session if you try. It's not necessarily the same goal. Could be personal, could be to do with your ward, could be to do with Sandmason. Up to you.
I feel as though maybe something to do with map making. I'm a cartographer.
Excellent.
So maybe something about mapping the travel where we are and where we're going. Carefully.
Excellent. So you want
Is that a fair goal?
Yeah.
Because I feel it's the same as my instinct.
Well then perhaps make it something a bit more personal. Make it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll make it about
protect Robin
my young ward. Yes. I'm just trying to think of ways that I could be.
He needs to get his cloak, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear mine, and maybe that will help?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So my belief is I must embody the true ideals of the guard. And my goal, I would like to make Robin. I want to prove my worth to Quentin. My worth as a mouse guard to Quentin.
Change want to must.
Must. Cool. I must prove my worth.
I must
as a guard
prove my worth
to Quentin.
As a guard mouse to Quentin.
Yeah.
Excellent. And what's your instinct?
My instinct is always create useful things in my free moments.
Excellent.
So I feel like even when Quentin's in the room there, he's always got something in his hands. He's just kind of like fiddling away with a little knick-knack or a little piece that he's sculpting.
Excellent. And Quentin?
I'm going to make my goal. I must protect Robin from danger.
Excellent.
Good
come
goal.
Back to those later on. So mice travel very light, so and they can forage as they go. So you don't need to gather much, just your weapons and your cloaks, any small things. It's still quite cold, so you might take some of the dense bread filled with nuts that the guard is known for. I believe it's called Raboon or something similar.
Oh, Raboon, yeah.
And
character voice is going all over the place.
Oh, hello, I'm Robin.
You visit the insectrist, who takes some of the wax from the apiary, from the beeswax, loads it into cloth packages and attaches it to a beetle that will follow you as you strike out. The gates of Lockhaven open before you, and the cold wind of spring, early spring, strikes you. For now, the weather is clear and bright, if somewhat cold, and you strike out into the east, off to find Sandmason. 2 days travel through the wilds, and the forest is obviously waking up. Green shoots are coming through the snow, and the paths are somewhat overgrown, but for now, this close to Lockhaven, you can cut your way through and widen the paths as you as is your duty. Very few mice are on the roads these days, although you do pass one ambitious peddler on the way to Lockhaven early on as you set out. You ask if he needs any help, but he waves you on, but gives you some stern encouragement as he has a great respect for the righteous guard. But it is at the end of the second day, 1 day's travel out from Sandmason, where you come across the scrub the heather as the forest breaks into the dunes near Sandmason, give it its name. Unfortunately, at this point, the path is completely overgrown by new growth, and you will go no further this night. When it comes to tomorrow morning, after you make camp, then you will have to strike out for Sandmason and make your way through the scrub. So you find some cover to make your camp, light a little fire, do a little foraging, and you wake with the dawn.
I was just having a question. Would this be the very first time that that Robin has struck out on some sort of venture? Would this be his very first? Well,
Robin's very first patrol.
This is anxiety-inducing as well as exciting, because a lot rides on this. So great, that's good to know.
That's right. The people of Sandmason need us.
That's
not just your ego, boy.
So, Dane,
yes.
you're in command. The way must be led through to Sandmason, through the overgrown scrub and heather. What do you do?
Well, I would assume that I would be one of the first to rise.
Excellent.
As is my nature. And I will fulfill my instinct of got to see what the weather is like.
Excellent. Well, spring is very volatile. Spring has 6 die to versus you with. And Weather Watcher will take you a couple of hours of sniffing and feeling of the air upon any rise that you can find. It's a slightly arcane art that some mouse are talented in.
It's witchcraft, that is.
So roll your Weather Watcher versus the spring, and we'll see how you do. Remember, any failed rolls can have consequences.
All right. I've gone for... I didn't know whether to go with tiny dice for mice.
Or massive dice.
And I went with this one.
Okay, well, spring has got you very confused, I'm afraid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 I rolled on my 6 dice. What did you come up with?
I only have 2 successes.
That's not so good. That's not so good.
2 heroes.
So,
I was going to say, because some as part of the Mouse Guard system, because I looked at it and I was really excited by it. Different seasons provide different obstacles and pressures and stuff, don't they? Like, it's very integral to the story what season it is.
So the wilderness itself and the weather itself are part of the things that Mouse Guard must contend with. The sucking mud and the freezing rain are very dangerous to tiny creatures. So, as you failed the test, I have 2 options. I can either impose some conditions, or I can introduce a twist. Okay?
Ooh.
So, what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to let you succeed, but impose a condition. Yeah. So, you are hungry and thirsty, because instead of foraging this morning and making sure you're ready to set out, you spend a couple of hours sniffing the air. So, we're going to mark Dane hungry and thirsty. There we go.
All right.
And that means if it comes to an argument later on down the line, you will you'll have your disposition reduced because you're hungry and your mind is on your food.
Oh yeah, but you might get a biting.
But as I've allowed you to succeed, what Weather Watcher does is I allow you to choose what the next turn in the weather will be. At the moment, it's clear, but at the moment it's clear and warm. So when the weather turns, you will have to choose between spring snow, spring rain, spring storms, and you can't choose unseasonable because you need to succeed by a higher margin. So spring snow, spring rain, or spring storms.
Do I choose that now or when that turns?
No, choose that now, and when it turns, that'll come into play. So you.
Yeah.
What do you smell on the air, Dane?
I believe a frost. A frost is coming.
Some spring snow, perhaps.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
Yep.
Okay,
a
so
speckling of snow.
You tell the others that the clouds and the smells and the low-laden clouds coming in from the west perhaps herald snow in the near future.
We must hurry before the snow gets to us. Dress warmly, men. Mice.
Mice.
Mice. Fellow mice.
Well, snow's not exactly great for us, is it?
No, but thankfully the beasts have to contest with it as well. We must be swift.
Every disadvantage, there is an advantage, young Robin.
Exactly.
You're right. I did forget that. Every advantage is a disadvantage. No, other way around. Every disadvantage is an advantage. Right, yes.
He brings out one of his pads and he writes it down. He's got like a little ink and quill that he's got with him to put down little wisdoms that especially Quentin bequeaths to him.
Must come from a very small bird. Otherwise, if you were using a normal quill.
Maybe it's made from a bee's sting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I like that.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not that I didn't capture the bee. I actually found it, and it was given to me actually by my senior artisan, Vernon.
There you go. Phil, while we wake up and do things, is there a chance that I can draw a map of where we've been so far?
Unfortunately, there's no time for that. There's no time.
Okay,
for
no
that.
perhaps
Perhaps if you earn some checks.
Yes.
Cartography will take you, several hours to remember, and you need some space to lay out as well.
Okay.
So it's a bit more of a downtime activity. For now,
Sure.
one of you will have to lead through the scrub and the heather, most likely using Pathfinder.
I believe that will be me.
I would recommend.
I am the group leader, and I have a 3 in Pathfinder.
So you step up, you return, and tell your patrol it's time to make haste, despite having used a couple of hours to assess the
perfect preparation prevents piss poor performance, Phil.
Excellent. So this is Pathfinder 2 check. At this point, I will remind you about teamwork rules. If anyone has a appropriate skill that they think can help with the Pathfinder check, they can lend a die to their fellow guard mouse. But you must describe what you're doing.
I am going to aid with your pathfinding by scouting.
Ah, yes, very good.
I have the skill scout.
Yep.
And so Quentin will, as you're making your way, Quentin will look ahead, making sure that there are no enemies, while you pathfind, making a safe trek. I'm making sure that up ahead there's no animals or dangers.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
that fair,
looking through the brush, and you are kind of scampering to a higher vantage point so that we can kind of see where we're heading to.
Yeah.
Part of pathfinding is to clear the path for future denizens. So yes, you are there with your sword cutting through, and Dane is variously running ahead or finding high ground to point out to you.
Because I'm using
because
I'm using my gear, my sword, does that get me an extra die as well?
I won't say that that's particularly useful for pathfinding.
Okay.
It is more of a weapon of war, and you're more using your noggin here. So how many?
If I had a scythe, maybe.
How many die do you have on your own?
Well, I believe so. It's a 3 skill, and Chris, as Quentin, has given me a die.
Are you going to use a trait to hinder yourself, or help yourself in some way?
Well, my traits are rational, stoic, and weather sense.
Weather sense, you could be too cautious of the incoming snow. Rational, you could be, could hesitate at certain points where you're like, oh, is it right or is it left around this hillock? There are lots of ways to turn those traits into negatives if you get creative.
Yeah, I do think that's what I was kind of thinking with rational, is that even though I said it is important to make haste, Dane is also just aware of the treachery that can lay ahead. You know, he's a very methodical mouse, slow and steady. And so it's the thing of like, no, this is worth doing right because we are forging the path for other mice to use after us. And so we are going slowly.
So everyone agrees that that's a fair use of that trait?
say so.
Yeah.
It's like
I'd say so.
because we established before that there's no time to waste, and we are now spending more time. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very collaborative game, so sometimes it will ask everyone to approve of a decision. So remove the dice from your pool and mark yourself a check against that trait.
Huzzah!
You can use that later in your turn. Also on Weather Sense, mark yourself a failure as well. You can use that to advance at some point.
At the moment,
And then roll your Pathfinder for me.
Instead of helping out, I think Robin's like, because this is his first mission, he's just taking a step back and just enamored watching the two mice at work and saying, "Oh, that's how you would do that. Oh, I wouldn't have even thought of that. Oh, that's."
Your dreams of becoming a guard mouse have come true, and here you are.
Yeah. Oh, it's exciting! It's exciting.
Very
I'm out and about.
So I have two successes, a 4 and a 5.
Nice.
That makes the Pathfinder check.
Huzzah!
So mark a success next to Pathfinder. So you'll need.
There we are.
If you have Pathfinder 3, you'll need 3 successes and 2 failures to advance. Failure is good. Failure is good.
We
But
like
for now,
failure.
You have succeeded. With Quentin's help, you cut your way through the scrub, and finally you come out onto the dunes in front of Sandmason. They gently undulate away. Sandmason is there, tucked underneath a rock near the shoreline, built of stone. It is like a hardy little castle with a small town surrounding it, and nearby a stand of wind-blown trees stands above the town. But
I've never been to Stonemason before.
Sandmason.
Well, I've never been to either, so.
Yes, Stonemason is particularly cold in the wintertime. There's just a bunch of fucking rocks.
With your insect behind you, carrying those packets of wax, you find yourself in the town of Sandmason. But very quickly, you discover something is very wrong.
A miss.
The mice are nowhere to be seen, and the town is in disarray. Overturned carts, houses with smashed windows, and fields that should be being sown with the few little hardy crops that mice can gather, husband, are not being tended to. No one out is foraging in the early spring, and the castle doors lay ajar. Where did everyone go? What do you do?
Quentin, I presume this is not. What would be protocol if you enter a city and no one is around? Because I presume it was meant to be quite a populated place. Well, what is it that we should do in this situation?
We must investigate.
And look
Take
for
stock of
survivors.
what is happening.
As the person to suggest this course of action, you step up to the plate and you need to roll. Chris?
Okay.
So, Quentin, I'm going to need you to make a scout roll unless you can think of something else. And you will be using... you'll be up against an obstacle 3 for this scout roll.
Okay.
So it's our skills that can lend die to our fellow mice. Am I correct?
Skills help skills, abilities help abilities. So basically, anybody can help if you're using an ability like making a health test in the snow or something like that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yes, if you can think of an ability or a wise, you can assist. So what is your scout?
My scout is 3.
Excellent.
I am going to advantage myself.
Yes.
Because it's early in the adventure. I feel like I want to get the narrative going.
Yes.
So I don't want to make it too hard for us just yet. We can get fired and taxed later on. So I'm going to use Inquisitive as a trait to give myself an extra dice.
Excellent.
I'm going to explore all the options and leave no stone unturned. So I'm going to use that 4.
And Chris, what are your traits, by the way? Because
I am Inquisitive, Quiet, and Brave.
Cool.
Can I lend you a die?
Please.
As I am I have the survivalist skill.
How are you using survival to help me?
To look where, in a panic where mice might rush to, if there are any tracks of beasts or warring weasels. I will be looking for the signs of danger.
I agree with that. I agree with that. It's like if I was in a panic, what would
Yeah.
I do in a survival situation? I think that's appropriate.
You're looking out for the danger that is apparently descended upon here. What is it? Where is it? What do we do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, here is a die for
There
you.
you go. It's been passed
you.
over to you. We can see if it helps or not.
And my apprentice.
Your better one.
Yes.
Robin, are you going to help in some way?
Are you going to help?
Oh,
Are you gonna do something?
well, I thought that maybe, what if
Can I use the same traits and skills?
Do you have scout?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Help.
feel like so what he wants to do, being a bit more of a nimble mouse, and more of a younger, sprightly fellow, he's going to sling some of his items onto his backpack, and he's going to scamper up to a high vantage point so he can see up and further away, see if there's something in the vicinity of a town maybe that we can't see that is happening. So he wants to scamper up a building or something adjacent to get a high vantage point while the other two are on the ground.
Climbing is very mousy. You climb up to the top of a nearby building as Quentin sniffs and stays low to the ground and looks under carts and in houses and around. Make your roll for me.
So that's a total of... So Sean was helping as well.
Yes.
That's 3 per use, +1 for my inquisitive, +1 for Ellen's help, and then +1 for Sean's help.
Yeah. So make sure you mark off your inquisitive use this session.
And
Yes,
so
I
what?
have.
Sorry, Phil. What do I do in that?
You would, if you were in the same room, you would physically hand a dice over to Chris. But for
Great.
now, you can.
And there's nothing I need to mark down or anything.
No. If you do help, and I impose a condition, I will sometimes impose a lesser condition on the helpers.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
I received 4 successes.
Hey.
That beats the obstacle for Scout. So mark a success against Scout for me. And what you find is that despite the disorder being quite old from before the winter, all tracks lead to the castle itself. Into the castle you go, you're leading the others. Sniffing away, you find things that have been dropped and abandoned on the way into the castles. Everyone gathered what they could on their way into the castle. The castle itself is abandoned, but activity leads towards a set of round doors deep in the castle, which open onto the old burrows underneath Sandmason. You open the doors and smelling and listening, yes, you hear fearful mice somewhere down in the burrows. Very quickly, with torches in hand, you come across the frightened townsfolk of Sandmason huddling in the dark. They have been here all winter in the various burrows, hiding from what is above. They see you in illuminated in the in your torchlight, but your bright cloaks and weapons are quickly visible to them, and a murmur goes amongst the mice. It's the guard. The guard is here. I told you they'd come. I told you they'd come spring. Yes. Excellent. Avery, the guard is here. Avery. Quickly, a mouse of importance comes forward with her assistant, and another mouse armed with a halberd comes with a couple of soldiers and greets the guard at the entrance to one of these chambers. Thank goodness, says Avery. Thank goodness. Finally, we can escape. And then the guardsman grunts. Yes, escape.
What befell this town? Why did you need to flee?
Crows. The stand of trees that overlooks our town was taken over by a bunch of mischievous, cruel, flying monsters at the end of last season. And they decided to raid the town, peeking in at our castle doors, robbing us of our lovely glass, particularly our jars that we would have sent to you. And they terrorized the town whenever we went out of doors. We made the decision to hide until the spring, when the guard could help us escape through the burrows. At this point, the captain of the guard steps forward. I'm Lucan. Escape, I don't believe, is what we should be doing here. Driving these crows off with strength of arms, now that the guard has arrived, and Avery is... I've told you, it's too much risk. We escape, and we live to fight another day. Sandmason is too important. The things that we make are needed across the territories. We've been going at this all winter, and we still haven't come to a decision. I'm the mayor, but you know what mice are like. We'd like to make sure that everybody has a say, and the townsfolk are divided just as we are.
Well, may I propose a suggestion? You haven't made a decision because you do not know all of the available information. We are here as representative of the guard. Might we send out a scouting party through the town? How many of these monsters are there? Do we have arms enough? And
I can tell you that there are 3 crows. There are 3 crows. There's more than enough danger for most civilian mice. I'm telling you, now that you're here, stores are running low. Decision must be made. At this point...
Isn't it possible that maybe the crows have gone? We came in here and we didn't see any. Maybe they've decided to go off elsewhere and we don't need to do any fighting or escaping. We could just live as normal.
Does Quentin have anything to say?
Quentin is quiet, and so I'm going to take a check against myself, if that's all right with you. That he chooses not... That
only come in factor if I ask you to roll.
Oh, sure. No worries then. Sure. Then he will say...
There is a conflict going on, essentially, between these 2 folks. Did you say that you had something to add?
Yes. Yeah, if quiet isn't... if I can't use against, then he will say...
If you can use it in a role specifically, yeah.
Sure, yeah. Then he will say, I would like to see a crow.
To study.
To fight. And to beat.
Well...
We should not fear something which, if one defeats us, many might more. We should not be coward. And it is our duty to protect this place.
Yes.
Not to be cowed by it.
And if they attacked once, they will attack again unless stopped.
Correct.
I think Quentin makes a very good argument.
So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put you in a conflict, an argument. So a conflict in Mouse Guard is when we zoom in on a particular moment, whether it be a strength of arms or a debate of ideas, and we do a little back and forth in rounds to see who comes out the victor. And there usually is some sort of compromise. So when we form a conflict, we start with our dispositions. We decide our participants and teams. So we have an argument conflict. We've got Avery and her assistant on one side. That's one team, and we have Lucan, the head of the guard, on the other team. So who is going to join the side, either side of the conflict here? Avery wants to help the mice escape through the tunnels and abandon the town, and Lucan wants to take up arms and fight off the crows.
I will join Lucan's side to fight the crows and take up arms.
Robin will also do that because he wants Quentin to feel that what he does is in line with what a guard should be doing.
Excellent.
I will also be joining Lucan. I am a rational mouse, but I believe in the strength of his argument that this town is necessary for all the other towns.
Save those arguments. You'll need those. You'll need those for playing out your actions. So when you make strong points, that's how you attack and defend. Okay.
Nice.
So
it's like the legal system.
Yes. So now we're going to. We've got you three on one team. And Lucan is going to allow you to speak for him, and you're versus Avery on the other side. So we're going to state our goals. Avery's goal is to convince the guard to help her guide the mice through the burrows to safety. And your goal is as you decide.
Our goal is to convince the mayor to arm the populace so that we can take up arms against to allow the guard to sally out and attack the crows
and defeat the crows.
Defeat the crows.
Drive the crows off.
Yeah.
Now someone will have to roll for your starting disposition. You're going to test your persuader skill. Others
I
can
have a
help.
2 in persuade.
I do as well.
I have 0.
Ah,
I'm not very persuasive.
Were you not first to decide that you were going to side with Lucan, though?
I was, yeah.
Well, I believe it falls to you to make the roll. So that's okay. You can either you can substitute nature. Fighting is not in your nature, or you can take this as a learning opportunity.
Look, I'll take this as a learning opportunity.
Excellent. So take your will dice. And your will rating.
Yep.
Add your
Which will do you have, Chris?
Which is 4.
4.
Nice.
That's good. That's good. And the others can lend a help. I won't ask especially how you help. You've already said your reasons for coming down on the side of the argument. So yes, you can take a die from each of your friends.
Here you go.
I'm just trying to make sure.
Thank you very much, Ellen.
Another blank dice for you.
Thank you very much, Sean.
And am I correct that in terms of skills, oral skills that you can do, Persuader is generally against other mice, and Orator is against a group of people that you're trying to put towards a different way?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you wanted to form a militia, you need Orator. If you want to win this argument, you need Persuader.
Awesome.
Sometimes that's a single roll, but this time it is a conflict. So take your will, halve it. Roll that, and then add your will rating on top. That'll be your starting disposition.
Okay. So, and I include the bonuses that
add those
Ellen and
add that afterwards.
So halve and then add. Is that correct?
So so if your will is 4, you're gonna roll 2 dice.
Yes.
And then add on 4 dice. Because you take your whole will as a base in this scenario because you're doing an argument. And then add 1 for each of your helpers as well. So it should be 2, 4...
Plus 2, so
plus
8
2.
in total? Is
8
that what
in
we're talking
total,
about?
Yeah. For your disposition. Yeah.
Can I take a -1 on that and use against myself?
Yep.
Great, I'm quiet. I am not the person who should be taking the lead on this.
Is it that thing
Yes.
where you speak up, and because like there's the the perfect moment of silence in the break that then everyone turns to you and you have to kind of like
I guess I'm the center of attention now.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. So Quentin speaks up hesitantly, and I roll 1, 2, 3, 4 successes off 7
Oh.
dice.
Okay.
Yes, pretty good.
I'm
Question
just
mark?
I'm just gonna check if I think I might have got that slightly wrong in that you might add it as a flat number.
Seems like a
No
lot
worries.
of dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might add it as a flat
Does,
number.
doesn't it?
I mean, I'm happy to have
Oh,
more
you
dice.
just add the
Don't get me
successes
wrong.
to the rating. My apologies. Can you take that again? And just roll the dice for your half will and your helpers.
Okay, yes.
That'd be 4 in total.
3, because I took a
Oh,
minus
right.
1.
And
Yeah.
And then I
So-
add 4 to it
yes,
as a total. Okay,
as a
great.
total, yeah.
So I got 2 successes then.
Okay, so
I'll just take, because I've got it in order. I'll just
Yeah.
take which dice I
Right,
rolled
so you
first.
you would have 6.
7.
Unfortunately, sorry, 7.
Sorry, pardon, 6. 6, you're right.
Unfortunately, one of your compatriots is tired.
Mm.
So Dane won't argue as well, and that is -1 will to arguments. So that
I'm
so
also
you're not
pretty
tired, you're hungry.
dull.
It's hungry. So Dane's mind is on their stomach, so you're going to actually be down to 5.
Okay.
So,
So that's our disposition. And that's a group's disposition.
that's your group's disposition. Yep.
Okay,
5.
great. Yep. We share a health pool in that
That's
regard.
correct. You share a position.
Yep.
Avery is a
A
politician.
disposition. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah.
So they have orator, but they don't have persuader. So they are also going to be using half will. So that is 3. But their will is also 6. So it's going to add on to that. So they're going to start with a higher disposition than you right from the get-go. Okay.
Oof.
2 successes, so 6, 7, 8 is their disposition.
We outnumber them. It's fine. It's fine. We can yell louder. There's more of us. That's how politics works. It's democracy. There's more of us.
Who yells the loudest, the most
Oh
convincingly?
my god, Mr. Squeaker. Hey?
Mr.
Hey?
Squeaker,
Whoa.
Mr. Squeaker.
Mr. Squeaker. A little Aussie politics joke for you there. Winning is not absolute. You will even if you lose, you will take compromises from the opponent depending on how much of their disposition you remove. Okay? So compromises can be made. Okay? That's such is the nature of debate. Now the way this works is we go in rounds that are groups of 3. You have 4 actions to choose from, and you script these actions 1, 2, 3. They are attack, defend, feint, and maneuver. So attacking, you make a strong direct point. Defend, you rebut your opponent's point. This helps increase your disposition and defends against a weakening position. Attack removes their disposition. Feint is a special attack where you concede a point only to use that to come back at your opponent. This is very good against people defending, but it's very poor against people attacking. It's kind of okay, neutral against maneuver and other feints. And then finally, maneuver is a rhetorical roundabout to get yourself in a more advantageous position overall, and you can use this to bonus future rolls or hinder your opponent's future rolls. So I'm going to script a couple of actions myself. And then once I've said that, you can discuss which actions. And remember, one person has to take each one. So look at your strengths. There's a little table on here. So attack and defend is with Persuader. Feint and maneuver, you can choose Persuader or Deceiver.
Ah.
So I am going to...
Did you say that? Does that say that on our character sheet somewhere?
There may not be room for that one, but there's I believe there's a matrix of how attack, defend, feint, and maneuver work as independent or versus tests.
Yeah.
against the others.
Yeah, next to disposition, there's the little chart.
Yeah, I don't understand the chart though, I guess is my
We'll
point.
come to
I
that
just see a
one.
lot of I's and V's.
So basically, so taking it from the top corner, if you attack versus attack, you'll do an independence test. Both people will roll their attacks and remove from each other's dispositions.
Cool.
If you defend and they attack, you do a versus roll, and it depends what the degree of success is over the other. What happens? So yes, it's versus or independent how that works. I've scripted mine, so now it's time for you to strategize and decide what you're going to do for your 3 actions.
Okay.
Okay.
I
So
don't have the deceiver skill.
I do, but we don't need it.
No.
Every roll can be done with Persuader, and you both have it.
Yes, that is
That's
correct.
right.
As
Yeah.
do you.
No.
Right?
No, you don't.
I can't persuade, which means that I am on our feint and maneuver rolls, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
But that we know that.
Yep. So I can advantage and disadvantage us. But I suspect that I'm just going to be maneuvering us. I'm just going to be maneuvering the argument around, right? And our opponent has higher disposition than us. So from a like battle, and I hope Phil's done this. I hope he's not trying to like go. See, this is the trouble: is you can like second guess yourself. But if I was in Phil's shoes, having a higher disposition than us, you would go on the attack and leverage like the higher disposition and like try and whittle your opponent down rather than being on the defense. So I would presume he's going to attack. So I would say that I will. I'm going to try and maneuver, and I think we should probably roll some defend.
Defend. Yep.
Try and soak those attacks, and then go on the attack after I've maneuvered us into a better position.
I was going to say, maybe could we, as a way to structure it, maybe if you could start off with like maneuvering us to advantage point, I can then come in like taking the cue from Quentin, and I'll come in with like a defense because I'm like, oh, that's what I see what Quentin's going for. Yes, I can help with that, and I'll take some of that, and then as like an ending punch, Dane comes in with with an attack. So it's kind of like maneuver, defend, attack done by each of us in turn.
Could we, if we've got 3 if we've got 3 actions, that's right, Phil?
Yep.
Can I suggest that we go defend, maneuver, defend, maneuver, attack, or defend, maneuver, defend?
Maneuver. Okay. So then maybe in that you or I would jump in first, Sean.
Yeah.
Because Quentin has already spoken.
Yeah.
So you could like take that to jump in. You're gonna defend. Maybe that will bolster Quentin, to reiterate his points, seeing his ward jump in, and then I will come in with the attack.
So what's the order we're going with in the people, sorry?
I believe,
just to re-clarify?
I believe that's Robin coming in with a defense.
To start off with?
Yep. Then Quentin will maneuver it, and then Dane will attack.
I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with that. Yep.
Great.
Excellent.
Yep, let's do that.
I love this game where the mice have to come to a consensus.
Get into a huddle first. In a huddle first, and we'll talk it out.
So, if you role play your points in character, you can get a die for the action that you're using, and you can keep a die on that action for the whole conflict. So if you role play your maneuver, here, or your defense, whichever it is, if you do it well enough, you'll have an extra die to spend on maneuvers going forward. All of you, okay?
Cool.
Each one of you can do that. If you make promises, you can add a die. If I find your repeating points, I'm going to remove a die from you. And you can get extra successes for intimidation or deception. Okay, bear that in mind. So your first action is to defend. First thing Avery does is maneuver. You've just arrived, she says. It is my job to look after the mice of this town. I have had all winter to contemplate. I have taken the suggestions of my captain of the guard into account already, she says, trying to maneuver into a position of authority over you. And you're going to defend, are you, Robin?
Yeah.
Avery, with all due respect, you said it yourself that we have just arrived. We, being the Mouse Guard, it is our duty to come in situations such as this and to assist, to help, to bolster you. And the best way that we know how to do what we do is to face this charge head on, to face this issue, this problem with steadfast devotion, with aplomb, and to eradicate the issue from existence. That is what we do. Avery, with respect.
Excellent. So you're a defense. So it's she's maneuvering versus your defense. That makes it a
Defense of what the Mouse Guard does.
Yes,
their
so that
purpose.
makes a versus roll. You role played that. If you want, you can take a die.
Will.
And if you your compatriots want to concur briefly, they can add die to your roll as well.
Well, I will. So your defense was that we are also trying to do our job, and
She
keep
was
everyone safe.
she was maneuvering and saying, "Hey, I've taken everything. Like me as the leader, I'm doing like
Yeah.
what I know to be best." And I'm going, "Well, the reason we're here is because this is what we do best." So
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
defending the Mouse Guard and what their purpose is.
Yes, I will concur. Your own Mouse Guard agrees with us. Here's
Your
a
own,
die.
Your own guard captain. Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, I'll grab it from you. There we go.
Do I,
Got it.
Phil, do I need the skill to assist, or I can assist just creatively with another?
Be creative. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yay.
I'm going to use my bow and physically gesture that we come equipped and we're ready. Showing the qualities of the Mouse Guard. Like, hey, we're not just some jack of all dinguses.
Yeah.
As is the phrase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack of all dinguses.
So
I'll have to
again, she doesn't have doesn't have persuader. She's more of an orator. So she's going to be.
We're gonna crush her.
She's been rolling with half will. Well, she has an assistant too.
Oh shit! I
Oh.
forgot about this.
But
Goddamn
yes, there's
assistant.
three of you are ganging up to convince her one way. So this is what happens. And
Yeah.
dice. So I'm gonna roll mine. 2 successes.
Okay, so I'm rolling the 2 persuader plus the 2 help.
Yep. And remember, you can hinder yourself. Give dice to your opponent for 2 checks, or remove a dice from yourself as well for 1 check.
But it would have to be in the name of one of my traits, wouldn't it?
Yes, correct.
Ooh, I wonder if there's a. No, I didn't roleplay any of my traits there really. So I have to be fair and say that I didn't. Yeah,
No worries.
I should have, but I didn't. But I am a
Roll away.
We learned.
stupid little tender paw.
You got 2 successes to beat.
Well, I got 3, a 6, a 5, and a 5.
That would be wonderful. You'd increase your
Ooh.
disposition by the margin of success, which would be 1, but your disposition hasn't been removed, so it can't go above your starting disposition, but you negate the maneuver. She says, I'm a politician, it's my goal, it's my job to look after these people. I've already figured everything out. And
Yeah.
you say, well, we're the guard, and
That's our
we're
job.
here to do our job instead.
Yeah.
So her second thing is to attack. That's
Ooh.
her assistant steps forward and says, well, that's all well and good, but we have people who are hungry and are sick, and they need to get to safety immediately. Who's taking this action?
That was
That's
me.
me. Oh, no, yes.
Apparently,
Chris.
Phil, you're
That's right,
quiet
you.
for someone. Thanks,
Okay.
thanks, Savage.
Thank you.
I know who that is.
Yes,
yeah, that
that's
was me.
You maneuvering, am I? That
Yep.
was what we dictated? Yeah.
Fuck. No, this is actually quite bad. What are they doing, Phil? They're attacking.
Attacking.
Fuck
and
it.
they're claiming that their people are hungry and they
Yeah.
need rest and whatnot.
Yes.
All right. And how much damage would we take? Is it dependent on how much damage is we
Attack
take based on-
versus maneuver is versus, so it depends how much they potentially beat your maneuver by.
Oh.
Is how much damage your disposition will take.
I think we lose the fight here. I am going to use against me quiet and hand 2 points, 2 dice over. Yes.
Yes. Just for Robin, make sure you can once in this conflict, because you've used Persuader, you can mark a success.
Thank you. That's a very wonderful.
Success. So yeah, you're going to use your quiet to hand over 2 extra dice.
Yep.
To the assistant, because you're just very quietly.
I like the idea of the assistant attacking Quentin, and Quentin just standing there being like,
Oh no.
like as the person who kind of like started the discussion.
Yeah.
Is like the kind of centerpiece of the argument. So there you go, two dice.
2 dice to me, I get. So
2
you
dice
get,
to you.
you earn 2 checks for that.
I get 2 checks.
Very
for that,
handy.
Yes.
So their assistant is actually the same. They only have 3 in their
Great.
Persuader, which is pretty decent. That's pretty average skill. So 3 Persuader plus 2 die for you being very quiet as she comes forward and directly says, "Hey, these people need help," and the others can help if they can think of a way to do so.
And I'm maneuvering just as a quick thing, so I'm like deceiving and like trying to trip up. In my
do you
argument.
have an argumentative?
Oh yeah, let me
idea?
start with something. By saying something to the effect of, well, this won't cost the people anything. You think that we would ask that they sacrifice what they don't have? The guard looks after people. We aren't going to tax them more than they're capable of giving. These people we're gonna send them to their death against a bunch of crows. This is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna send them right out.
Okay, do you guys help?
Yeah, I'd like to concur. We're not asking more than they can give.
Excellent.
We're
Our
absolutely
duty as
asking more
might.
than they can give.
Yep.
And I think I'm also Robin will jump in. Is that
Yes, trust that we know what we're doing. This is what we're skilled at, and we do know what's best in this precarious situation. With respect.
Actually, sorry, hold on. It doesn't make sense for it. Can the argument be, we're not talking about the people, we're talking about what the guard will do.
Yeah, so you're maneuvering.
Like that's the maneuver. That's the maneuver. Stop talking about the people, start talking about the people who are actually going to be doing this thing. And that's feeding on what Sean offered.
Yeah,
So
so then my thing still makes sense there. It's
That's
like,
right,
yes, like,
My concurring might be a bit different in that it is our duty.
Yes.
Do not stop us doing our duty. Here you go.
Yeah. And then mine is trust in what we're saying.
Okay.
So I've got 5 dice on my side.
Yep.
Oh, I'm rolling hot today. It's 4 successes.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
So I have 2 in deceive and 2 from each of you.
Yeah.
Or 1 from each of you.
Mhm.
So
You need to get all successes.
I got 1 success.
Yay!
We lose 3 points of
3 points from a disposition.
Okay, so we have 2 points of disposition left. Ellen,
Right.
Have not removed any disposition from your opponent, so
Ellen?
far no compromises.
Bring it home with an attack. Attack him!
Bro.
Ellen,
Yes.
Their third action
What did you
is
pick?
to attack.
Attack.
oh, and we picked attack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is your direct point that you make?
My
Bang.
point.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're attacking,
Yeah.
you must make a direct point.
My point is that not only will the people of Sandmason be doomed by your inaction, so will the other neighboring towns. We need your wares. That's my
Excellent.
point. However, my ability to make it is going to be hampered by so much shit. And I also have a -1 to disposition because
No,
I'm
it's already
hungry,
been factored
thirsty.
in. Already been factored
Oh,
in.
you already did it. Excellent.
Yeah,
I was
it's already
like,
been
did we
factored
do
in.
that?
Yeah, it's already been factored in. Lowered your initial disposition by 1, unfortunately.
Great.
So their point is that we are weakened. We are weakened. Our stores are low. And these people need escape immediately. Unfortunately, this is rather similar to the last point they've made. So they're going to lose a die. They're going to lose a die for this.
What?
But they do join together to make this point. So the help from her assistant brings her back up to 3 die.
Well, that's all they'll need. They only
Yeah.
need
They get
2
3
die.
successes, right?
They just need 2.
They need 2, right?
We
Yeah.
have disposition of 2, and our roll doesn't mean anything because
No.
they're independently rolled. So
Your roll still, whatever successes you get will reduce their disposition.
yeah, but I don't imagine
independent,
that
right?
we'll be able to do.
No,
How
but
much
you can get a
disposition do I
compromise
have?
from them. You will be able to
That's true.
compromise
That's true.
from them.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
you make your point. You use Persuader. Others can help, and you can use
Yeah.
a trait for or against. Remember, you can tap your nature, or if you really want to come home, you can use a Fate point, which you have 1 of, to re-roll any 6s if it comes to that.
Okay.
So can I? No, like I can't use traits to help. It doesn't really work in that way because I'm not actually rolling. I'm helping.
Skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I
talking
can
about
just-
using my traits. Is what I was
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did
Yep.
you roll? Deceiver or Persuader? You rolled Deceiver on your last one.
Me?
Chris, on your
Chris.
last attack.
Yeah, Deceiver.
Mark a failure for Deceive.
Yep. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
I think Robin will jump in to add on to the point that Dane has just made and says, if you flee, there are just as much dangers out there than in here. At least in here, we quell the issue, and then you have a safe city to continue living your life as free mice.
Cool. I'll take
Cool.
that die.
Yep.
Very nice. I think I would like to use a trait to my advantage.
Yep.
I'm
Which trait?
rational. My point is well thought, and
Yes.
and I am arguing it clearly.
Yep. Mark off that trait. Give yourself a die.
Yeah, Roy. Cool.
And now might be a
excellent.
time to make some sort of promise
Yes.
for an extra die as well.
I
A
think
promise
I
only helps in defense.
does it?
Oh, correct. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. There's the
Evidence
promise,
would-
or what was
evidence
the
would
Evidence
help
would
us.
help. Yeah.
yes, and we don't have any. We don't-
Evidence in this case.
Here's a
might be-
crow here.
Might be a feather from a crow that you drove off. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we can beat
Yeah.
these guys. We can beat these
No.
guys, right?
No,
That might be
but we
evidence
didn't.
in this case, but you didn't. Okay, you ready?
All right,
I'll
let's
give you-
roll.
+1, Ellen. I'm
Thank
going to give you
you.
a +1 with my Deceiver. And I'm going to say that we have beaten a crow before.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Love it.
I mean, I'm owl-wise, so who knows?
Yeah, and I'm owl-wise as well, so I suspect maybe we have actually.
Yeah, we've probably beaten an owl.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that we have.
Yeah.
What is the?
Four's
Did you
enough?
say you got 4 successes, Phil?
I haven't said yet.
Oh, okay. I misheard. I'm deaf. It's fine.
No, I've only got 1 success, unfortunately. Then it's 3s across the
Ooh.
board.
Yikes.
I know.
I rolled
Bad
3
roll.
That's
successes.
it.
There you go.
Disposition is demolished, and you remove their disposition by 1. So you
How much do they end with?
7 out of 8.
Fuck.
Yep.
She's very well spoken. She's extremely passionate, and you can see Avery the pleading in her eyes and the love for her people. Please, you must. There are children here. You must help us escape the tunnels. If you sally out and you cannot defeat the crows, and no one can guide us to safety, we will starve here. Perhaps you can come back with strength of arms somewhere later down the line. But for now, I must implore you, help us escape these burrows and find shelter before much worse happens. And Lucan grumbles, seeing your faces fall in the face of her impassioned plea. I will. You can perhaps get a small compromise if you can suggest something, but only minor.
Oh, what would
Let's
we
kill the crows first.
It's too major, too big a compromise.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was a
Way
joke.
too big.
they've kind
Was
of
a
already,
joke.
yeah, they've kind of already suggested
Clearly.
a compromise in we could bolster and come back in greater numbers later. So I don't know. I feel like they already suggested the best compromise, unless anyone else can think of something.
I mean, can we get maybe we can ask for like a promise from them or a deal from them to like join us in coming back at a later date to drive them off? Like, can we count on your arms
Yeah,
when
Maybe
we come
the
back?
guard captain will come.
Yeah.
Will come,
Yeah.
The guard
And-
captain will come, but everyone else feels like they need to look after the weakened townsfolk. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the vibe we've got is this town is like, nah, we're leaving the town, and we're like,
Yeah.
no, stay, and they're like, no,
No.
go,
We're looking after
okay.
we're looking after us. We
Fair.
don't
Completely
waiting
fair
for
enough.
you to. We've been waiting all winter for you to come and rescue us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rescue
Now you're
us.
here. Please rescue us.
Yeah. and we're
Yeah.
like, all right, we tried.
Yeah.
We won't set out this day, though. So, please stay with us this evening, and we'll make preparations to head off tomorrow. And at this point, I'm going to give you a player's turn.
Ray.
Okay.
Also, should we have a break at some point? A 5-minute
I
break
need to
from
go
stream?
to the loo.
Do you go right now? Go. We'll have a quick 5-minute break right now. How does that sound?
Yay!
And then we
All
can
right,
do the
everyone, we'll
players'
be
turn.
right back in 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Stick with us.
Good time for you to go to the loo too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Be back.
Go on. And welcome back.
Now.
Welcome back to Broadcast Live. We're playing Mouse Guard.
Hello.
Hello. As you can see, it's now the player's turn. Now, how many checks have we all earned?
None.
Well, you get one free.
The one free action.
Yep.
2, I believe.
And Chris.
Yep.
I have 3. I've
Excellent.
earned 3.
You
Well
can
done.
add on your free check that you get anyway.
Yep. So for 4.
Yep.
Bloody hell.
And Ellen, did you earn? How many did you earn?
2.
2, so you add on your free one.
Excellent. So I've got 3 checks.
Yes. Now we go in turns. You can't go twice, and you can donate checks to other mice. It's
Okay.
up to you. My role here is to roleplay the people you run into. You can get into fights with fellow mice, other mice. You can make and mend. This is your time. So you basically have the rest of the day and night in the burrows underneath Sandmason to do as you wish. We'll start with Chris as the one with the most checks.
Yes.
What do you do?
Time to make a map.
Yeah.
Time to make a map of the adventure so far.
Yes.
Excellent. So that will be a cartographer role.
Yes, it will.
Let me just get a see what I'm gonna do for factors for that.
Mm-hmm.
Cartographer.
Yes.
Complexity. Simple map, detailed map, accurate map. What are you doing?
What am I able to know the need to hit?
So,
Like, what are the
simple
factors do?
will be simple will be 1. Detailed map will be make it obstacle 2, and a
Okay.
very accurate map will make it obstacle 3.
Okay, so I just roll and that's the result I get. I don't have to aim for 1, or I have to aim for it. I have to
You
declare it.
choose what you're doing first, right? And that will set the obstacle to beat. So the type of
Okay.
map that you're attempting
Yes.
will factor in, okay?
Okay. Well, let's go for the level 2 one.
So you're going to make a detailed map.
I'm going to make a detailed map.
And you've personally surveyed the area, so I'm going to say that keeps it at 2. So,
Okay.
cartographer 2.
Cartographer 2. I'm going to use my cartography of 3. I'm also going to use my pen, my paper and ink and pens to give myself a +1.
That's a
Nice.
correct gear for the task. Yep. So it's another die. Yep.
Actually, I'm going to go for a basic one. I just did some math in my head. 2 ups on 4 50/50s for a 2 success chance is not good math.
Failure
So-
is good. Failure to advanced skills, you must fail at them at least 1 less than your rating. So
Yeah, but you also need to pass them.
yes, you also need to pass as well. Yeah.
And I want a map.
Yep.
And I always...
want that freaking map.
I can also let you pass, but give you conditions. That
Yeah,
counts as a
nah.
failure, but yeah.
I'm gonna go for the most basic one.
So you make a simple map through
Yep.
from Lockhaven through the new path that has been cut through the scrub. Yep.
Yes, and I want my
Obstacle
instinct
1.
because I'm to achieve my instinct.
Yeah.
So I roll 4 dice, 46,
Looking for a success.
and I got 2 successes.
Excellent, excellent. So describe to us how you you scratch out this map.
So Quentin, after being ashamed and kind of like, that whole scene passes where he was quiet, he retreats further into being quiet, goes and finds himself a small corner of the castle kind of like underground complex that they're in, and secretes
He
secures-
does what?
secures himself away.
Yep.
And
There's a few barrels and a crate that have been set up as a little
oh, very good.
seating
Yeah.
area. Yep.
He'll put his back to the rest of the area, kind of putting himself in the corner.
Yep.
And we'll lay out his parchment and then begin scratching away at a very simple, basic map of the journey they've come on so far.
Great, but it does. But it is a map.
Yeah.
And it doesn't follow all the twists and turns, but does indeed could be used by someone to get them from Lockhaven to Sandmason. So mark a success by cartographer for me, and we'll pass over to Ellen, who has the next highest.
And I get a
number of
fate
checks.
point.
Oh,
Thank
pardon
God.
me,
No,
I'm
that
not
comes
wearing.
at the end. That comes at the end of the session.
Cool.
I'm not wearing Dane's spectacles, mainly because
So,
they don't.
Dane,
Not my head.
you could recover from hungry and thirsty, or any other number of things that you might want to do.
Well, Avery the mayor?
Avery is the mayor of Sandmason. Yep.
I want to suss out if I can still get some jars. You know, obviously we were like, because where's the storehouses? Once we evacuate those mice, we are still lacking in jars, and we have
Excellent.
wax of which to trade. I want to fulfill my mission,
She's
helping
got
this town, but also not hindering my own.
versus Haggler roll. She's got Haggler 4, by the way.
Excuse you. Sorry, Bowser just yawned. This is a very interesting game of haggling, I'll have you know. He's all about combat, that guy. Can I argue this with...
You can only use haggle or deceiver for negotiation rolls.
And I don't have either.
Well, you either use beginner's luck or you can use your nature.
I'd like to use my nature. Yeah. I need the thing.
Okay.
You know,
So
that's a very mousy thing of like I'm hoarding this. It's mine. I need to.
Yes.
I have a singular goal.
I'm gonna say that it's you're drawing on your nature as a mouse, but it's not within your those aspects of nature. So should you fail, we will tax your nature a little bit.
Okay.
So
Cool.
what's your nature
All right.
rating?
4.
4. Okay. So 4v4.
Not a very mousy mouse.
4v4.
Yes. And can I add anything else?
You could tap your nature with persona if you feel this is particularly important. That will remove your persona point, which you won't get back until the end, and let you add a number of dice equal to your nature on again. So it basically doubles up. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna save that. I'll just see how this roll goes, I think.
So you approach her and say, "Hey, we still need those glass jars that we were promised last spring."
Yep. And we have our beetle is loaded up with wax for your town.
So
I'm not asking...
three successes.
I also got 3 successes.
We have a
What does that mean?
tiebreaker.
I know that I can, if I wished to earn a check, I could break the
you
tie
can't
and let
you
Avery win.
can't earn more checks on the player's turn,
Ah,
so it's no
very
longer an
good.
option. Yeah.
Right. I don't have
So,
to remember more rules.
Yes. So tiebreakers. Did you have any 6s?
Yes, I had 2.
If you want to spend your fate point, you can re-roll those. Otherwise, we'll go to a tiebreaker roll
I can re-roll the 6s,
by spending a point of fate. Yeah.
but they're already 6s. Or do you mean that just adds an extra?
If you get more successes on those 6s, you can add those successes.
Okay, so when we
okay, yeah.
you're not re-rolling the result, you're adding on.
No. You can get
But
add
you
a
got
number
the
of dice
6.
equal to your 6s. Yeah.
Yeah.
They become
Yeah, 'cause
additional.
when
I
dice.
wanted to fail.
Yeah, because
I
what
mean,
I'm
failing
hearing
is
is
good, right?
you could roll a worse roll.
Yeah. Well, that's always an
If you
option
wanted.
in Mouse Guard. It's always an option.
Yeah, I'll use my fate point. Why not?
Okay,
I haven't used that mechanic before.
Spend your fate point, roll 2 additional dice.
Fate.
Okay. That is 2 successes.
So your plea is heard. Your authority as the leader of your patrol tips you over. Most of our glass that we've made has been snatched up by the crows. We had very little left, but I know that we promised you them, and I'm sure winter was harder without them to preserve your goods in. You have brought the wax as promised, so yes. We will find what we have stashed away, and you can take it with you once we escape.
Fantastic.
Right. You use your
Huzzah!
nature. You use your nature, so you don't get any advancement towards haggle or anything like that. But you did succeed, so that's good.
Yay.
Robin, your check.
Robin is going to find a kind of a little nook, a little corner somewhere within the space there, with maybe just like a little patch of light somewhere from a candle, and he's going to pull out or source a block of wood, and he's going to begin carving using his chisel, his hammer, his little masonry tools that he has at his disposal, and he's basically going to carve something akin to a warning. It's going to resemble a crow, and there's going to be a little inscription on it that says "Keep out," and it's going to be a warning that he's going to intend to place somewhere later that warns others coming towards the town that there be crows within, since they're intending to leave this place rather than rid it of the scourge.
Creating a simple sign is going to be obstacle 1.
Yeah. What if now this is going to be also in the form of a literal crow? So is that not so simple?
Obstacle 2.
Great. So can I would say that I'm using my would it be my because I've got smithing and weaving. What would that probably?
Carpentry. It's carpentry.
Well,
Making
I
something
don't-
out of wood.
Could it be out of something else? If I've
Yes.
got potting, I've got potter. So could it be out of clay?
You don't have time to fire it, I would say, and you don't have access to a kiln.
No.
So it would be rather difficult
Ellen.
to make something. Get out of the kiln.
Yeah, the kiln.
So no, potter is not going to be that useful here.
Damn, and I've only got weaving and smithing as well.
Well, you could make a cloth, but it's not going to hold. You could make a cloth sign, but it's not going to hold up to the elements as well as a piece of wood.
The wood. Can I try it without having the skill in
Of
carpentry?
course, always. Yep.
Great. And I want to argue that my masonry tools in my gear give me an extra dice, does it not? If I have the appropriate gear.
I'll allow it. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, great. So that is.
So are you
I'm
making
using
are you making a simple sign? Or are you whittling a crow-shaped sign?
No, let's go all out. I'm whittling a crow-shaped sign
Okay,
here.
so it's obstacle 2.
Great.
I'm going to say this is a will-based test. Unless you use your nature, we're going to use your will. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like a mental thing, rather than a physical exertion, like running a long
Absolutely.
distance. So take your will,
Yep.
halve it,
Yeah.
and rounding up, and that's how many dice we're going to use for beginners.
Plus the
Plus
the,
1 for tools.
the gear.
Plus 1 for
Great.
tools.
So I literally have to get both successes because it's a dice pool of 2.
Yes.
Let's do it.
I love it. This is my first time whittling. I'll start it with the crow.
Yeah.
Crow, yeah.
He wants to impress Quentin. Like he wants to this is what's best for the guard. It needs to be clear. That was a 5 and a 1, so it's only 1 success, unfortunately.
Okay, so next to Carpenter, mark a test. It doesn't matter if pass or fail at this point because it's a new one. Once you've reached your nature, your untaxed nature, in carpentry tests, you will gain carpentry 2. For now, you, after cursing and hammering away unfamiliar tools, create a sign somewhat in the likeness of a crow. Good enough.
Crow adjacent.
It's crow adjacent. It's got wings, and it does warn people it can be hung up. So you have created the sign, but unfortunately, the frustration has made you angry.
Awesome. Yeah, I think
Living
this is very.
conditions, You are angry.
This is very much a case of this is not his best work. As a mouse from Barkstone, a place that is known, honestly, for their smithing, for their weaving, for using their hands. Like literally, one of his traits is steady paw. This is something he's meant to be good at. And
You could have invoked that.
during the player's turn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You just
Okay.
You can't hinder yourself. That's all.
Oh, I didn't know that. Unfortunately,
You can't hinder yourself. Once per session, you can use a trait for yourself.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't
your-
hinder
it's on
yourself. You
your
can't kind of
sheet.
continue earning checks while you've already spending checks because it just gets a bit complicated.
Okay.
So that goes back round to Quentin.
Yeah, I'm going to investigate the tunnels that we're going to be diving an entire town into.
Yep. Make a scout roll.
I'm going to make
for
a
me.
scout roll. I figure it's
Scout
important to figure out what the heck is going on here.
So scout. What did I have here? So they're unfamiliar. It's unfamiliar territory. I'm going to make it a obstacle 3.
Obstacle 3.
Dark.
All right.
It's
Yep.
dark. It's unfamiliar.
Yes.
And it's late, so I'm gonna make it obstacle 3. So it would require a bit of luck even from the best scouts.
That's fine, because I am going to use I'm not going to use my nature because I don't feel as though I want to burn that just yet.
So you're not gonna
Although my
tap it.
nature is, well, I tap it, yeah. My nature is amazing, so I kind of want to use it at a later date.
Yes.
I have a nature of 6.
Excellent.
Ooh, you're very
Yeah.
mousy mouse.
I'm very mousy mouse. I'm quiet. I'm inquisitive and I'm brave. The mousiest qualities. But I will scout using quiet. This is I'm going to use that for my advantage, my trait quiet, to help me scout.
Yep.
I'm a sneaky quiet mouse. So that's 4 dice.
Have you used quiet this session already?
To
as a
my
positive?
advantage? No.
Okay,
No.
great. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Yeah. Thank you. 2, 3, 4. 4 dice in total. 2 successes. So that's a failure.
Against obstacle 3, so mark a failure on scout.
Mhm.
You sneak off on your own, and you're investigating the twists and turns of the burrow when you come across a den of garter snakes who have not yet
Whoa.
emerged for the winter.
Mm.
You turn the corner, and a number of snakes are very gently writhing in the darkness. You will need to escape somehow before the snakes notice you. You see one tongue flicking out, it's tasting the air, tasting mouse on the air. What will you do?
Bill, can I, as an alternative, ask that I succeed on the roll? I managed to escape safely. As this is player's turn, I don't really want to be dragged into a conflict here.
I'm not going to make you roll a conflict here. You're not battling the.
No. What I'm saying is that I take the condition tired as I escape successfully.
So what I'm going to do, is say, so you failed the scout roll, and I've introduced an animal twist, and now I'm going to make you roll to escape. I'm not going to make you use a check for it, but you can use your mouse nature to escape, or you could use a health test to run as fast as you can. And then if you fail that, you'll mark tired or injured or something like that. But
Okay.
you could succeed. You could very easily succeed. So it's you versus the snake's nature. I'm not gonna start a full-blown conflict with the snake. You're not trying to drive the snake out of its burrow or anything like that. At least I really hope you're not trying to do that.
No.
So I would suggest you use your nature because it's escaping. Is a very mousy thing to do.
It is. That means I have to tap it, don't I?
Especially.
No, I'm just using it. Great. Then I'll use my nature, my mouse
So
nature.
tapping it is spending a persona point to add your whole nature rating onto whatever roll. It's a heroic moment of great reserve. But for escaping, it's
Great.
it's mousy to escape.
It's what we do. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then how many successes do I need?
Versus the snake's nature of 7.
Oh, it's versus? Okay.
It's predatory nature of 7.
Garter snakes are pretty little.
If only you had someone
Poor
there
mouse.
that's snakes wise.
4,
Yeah, we are mice, so it's
5
like
successes.
Well, if I only had 3. So I failed on my mouse roll. I'll mark that off.
Yep, you can mark a failure on nature. Yep.
Yep.
And
I don't-
unfortunately, how much did you roll?
I rolled 6 dice and got 3 successes.
So you fell by a margin of 2.
2. Yep.
I'm going to impose injured here.
No.
So you come around the corner, and illuminated in your torchlight is a mass of hibernating, slithering garter snakes. Your dancing torchlight reflects from their shiny scales, and before you can turn tail and run, one of the snakes rears up, having smelt you. It goes to strike, but you can dive out the way. But you, in your rush, you trip, you stumble into one of the tunnel walls, and twist your ankle as you take a turn, and you are now injured. Okay.
This is very exciting as someone who is snakes wise.
Yes.
That is Robin's wise.
Yay.
So injured is -1 die to all skills, nature, will, and health, excepting recovery actions. So it's pretty major. Injured is pretty major. Okay.
Yes.
So now it is
Major injured.
it is the go of Dane.
Well, I would like to clear my conditions, and I feel like it's time for Dane to eat.
Yes. So
Have a little meal.
So hungry and thirsty, you would like to clear.
Yeah, I imagine that's like a full turn.
Yeah, one of your checks to recover. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna lay out. I'm gonna find a spot where I can sort of, lay out my little spread.
Just trying to find the recovery for that one. Here it is. So recover from hungry and thirsty. But no, that's just what it means. Recovery order: hungry and thirsty. Eating and drinking. You may test harvester, cook, brewer, baker, or resources to acquire a meal or drink. Obstacle 1.
Okay. Well, I'm a no, I'm not. What is it again? It's cook. It's
harvester, cook, brewer, baker, or resources.
Ooh.
resources. Oh, well, I have pretty good resources. Otherwise, I was gonna argue if I could use survivalist. I just eat whatever.
Not down here. No.
There's no lichen. There's no.
Yeah,
no
it's more of a.
There are snakes.
Be more of a foraging role above ground. But no, you can use resources. This is your resourcefulness. You can pay for a little bit of food, or just convince someone that you're hungry and you need it.
I've got resources.
Yeah, roll your resources for me.
Yeah, and I don't think it behooves a member of the Mouse Guard to beg for his supper. So I have a resources of 5.
Great. You only have to beat obstacle 1.
Yeah, great. That's 2 successes.
Okay, we can clear hungry and thirsty and mark a success against resources.
Excellent. I will buy some of your cheese to put between my bread and make a sandwich.
So Dane is no longer hungry and thirsty. Robin.
Yeah, boy.
Yes.
You're out of checks.
Yes, that's right. I can't
Would
do
someone
anything.
like to donate a check to Robin?
No, I need mine.
Okay, so
That's fair. And a squire award should know better. Get your own damn checks.
So as soon as someone doesn't have a check to spend, your other two
They die.
get one more turn. Okay. So now Robin has passed.
Wait, what?
Passed
Now
on.
that
So
Robin
now
has-
that I'm out, you can only do one more
You can do one
round
more each.
thing each. Yeah.
Oh, well then, here you go, Sean. Take one of mine.
Teamwork. Teamwork is strongly encouraged. Excess checks are discarded. So yes,
That's so interesting.
This is why we do teamwork. So Robin, you've been donated a check. What would you like to do?
Well, this is great. So Robin, now that he has created this thing, Robin is going to be fearless, and he's going to do something that he believes is for the good it's for the good of the people, good of mouse kind,
Mhm.
and represents something that a mouse guard would do. So he's going to take initiative, and without telling anyone, he's going to take this warning sign above ground to place it fearlessly at the front of the city, so that it warns other people that may come in. There be crows here, don't come in.
Okay. So
He's going to make a surface trip to place this sign out the front.
so I would like you to roll a scout.
Great.
Obstacle one.
And I'm arguing that this is touching on a positive fearless trait for myself as well.
Yep.
Great.
You can gain
There's
a
a-
plus one for that. Yep.
Oh.
Obstacle one, to find your way out to somewhere you can nail this up and back.
Me nail this roll. 2 successes.
Excellent. Mark a
2
success
successes.
against Scout.
Yeah.
And you have provided a warning for other mice. Excellent. Good job. Good. Quick thinking.
Yeah.
So, background to Quentin.
Yeah.
How many checks do you have left?
1.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use it to try and heal my injury.
Mhm.
I don't think I will. The rules are pretty rough for injuries.
Injury
They are
stuff,
pretty-
yeah. So you
Yeah.
can make an obstacle for health test to overcome the pain and discomfort. If the
Yeah.
test is successful, the penalty is removed and the condition alleviated. If the health test fails, the character keeps the penalty until he finds the attention of a healer.
Is there a healer?
I'm not a healer.
So the town
Come on.
does have a healer.
Mm-hmm.
If you would if you would prefer to seek them out, I will say that is the check. You can spend that check to find them out instead, and we can we'll just see how well they roll. They have
Yeah, I
5.
spend it trying to find a healer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You come back. There's an elderly mouse who you're pointed towards, who is studying books by candlelight, and they take one look at your swollen ankle. I can bandage that to support it. You will need that under your secure under you as you lead us to safety tomorrow. So this is only obstacle 3.
Yep.
Sadly, I got 2 successes.
That's fine. I will burn a point of resources to heal my injury.
So if the healer fails his test, the injury condition is removed. However, the injury permanently reduces one ability or skill.
Oh, except resources and circles.
Except resources or circle of the GM's choosing. You may later advance this depleted ability using the advancement rules.
Oh god, I misread what it was saying. Oh god.
Ability or skill. So reduce your health by 1, please.
Mhm.
So
no.
he bandages it, but you refuse to keep the waste off it as he instructs because you have stuff to do. And so this is going to plague you, for a while yet to come, maybe the whole year, possibly. This dodgy ankle you got going off on your own and running into a terrifying nest of hibernating snakes. This will
Why
be
did I?
a reminder
why did
of
I
your folly.
I'm not trusting any healers anymore. They all suck.
It's your fault, not his.
Yeah.
Just said. But injured is removed for
Yes.
Quentin. So next one is back round to Ellen there, to
Yep.
Dane. Last check, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. What do you do?
Well, I want to see. Ugh. I guess this would be like another resource. So I want to see what resources the townspeople have. I want to make sure that we have torches and weapons and whatnot
Administrator.
as
Administrator. Yeah. To organize.
Basically, to
organize
scout ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, organize everything to make sure that you're ready to go. This will give you a bonus for when you help everyone escape later on down the line.
Yeah.
If you pass, of course.
Oh.
Okay, so let's have a look at administrator.
Mm-hmm.
Type report budget law rationing orders. So I'm going to say it's a report. It's quite simple. So that's obstacle 1. But breadth, mouse patrol outpost, town or city. So this is going to be a town. So you're going to add 2. So it's going to be obstacle 3. 1 for a simple report, but 2 for it being a whole town's worth of resources that you're trying to organize and prepare a report on. So obstacle 3, administrator.
I just realized I don't have an administrator skill.
Well,
That is a skill, isn't it? It is a skill, isn't it?
It's what you're trying to do. I can't think of anything else you might use.
Yeah.
But if you're literally trying to organize all the supplies, you are administrating. That's what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Does instructor work or survivalist? No.
Survivalist is more about creating shelter and stuff, and avoiding snowfall and stuff like that. Yeah. Survivalist is how to make shelters, find water, build fires, and jury-rig tools.
Well, maybe instead, can I amend that, and I will try and jerry-rig some torches, for at least myself and
another
my party.
suggestion is: do you have insectrist?
I do, yeah.
Well, they have a bunch of beetles down here that they've guided down. Perhaps you can make sure the beetles are all ready and well equipped to carry all the supplies.
I would have assumed that they had just like fled and left the beetles to be picked off by the crows.
No. They're very valuable. Their livestock, their beetles and crickets. So they've got a small stable of them down here that they've managed to feed at some small expense to their supplies over the winter. Yeah. So insectress to prepare the insects. Beetles is obstacle 2.
All right. Well, I can't really add any bonuses. I've already used rational to.
I love the amounts. The amounts are 1, many, or too many. So I'm going to say it's many. Many beetles. So it's obstacle 4.
Okay. I only got 1 success.
Okay. So you succeed. In getting all of these beetles together, but it's way more beetles than you've usually had to deal with. Usually you have one pack animal, that you take on the trail with you. This is like a whole town's worth of beetles, and you're trying to organize them, get them in the right place, put the things on them, working with the town's insectrists, who are themselves very, very tired, and eventually it's extremely frustrating activity, and by the time you have them all ready, you're very angry and frustrated with these beetles. Dane is angry.
I'm angry.
That's everybody's checks.
Should
Great
be you.
player turn. You've done lots and lots. Remember to mark a failure next to insectrist to advance that later on when this extremely popular stream of Mouse Guard comes back around again. We've been going for a couple of hours. We can try and squeeze in another GM and player, or we can round it up today.
I mean, we've got 2 options, right? Either we can try and squeeze one in, or we can also do what we used to do in Broadcast Live, which is divvy up. There's a roleplay section and a chat section. So it's really those are the 2 options, right?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's not wrap up just yet. Let's have a quick chat to finish the stream. But let's finish the game part.
We have to finish
of this.
the game.
Yeah.
We do have to finish the game. So there's a resolution chapter, and I love this part. This is all to do with a around the table discussion, and we kind of collaborate to find out who was kind of the MVP and that sort of thing at the end of the turn. So yes, just to sum up. We were tasked with heading off to trade for some jars at Sandmason and discover what was wrong there. Upon reaching the town, we realized a group of crows have decided to make life hell for all the mice there, and all the town are hiding underground. So the mayor appealed to you and convinced you that the people must be led to safety before anything can be done about the crows, despite the protestations of the guard and the town captain, Lucan. With that decided, you took the evening to make maps, warn others, scout ahead, and prepare insects for the difficult trail ahead to safety at Lockhaven after you escape. Unfortunately, Quentin took a permanent injury when he ran into a bunch of hibernating snakes, which is kind of terrifying. And others weren't as completely successful as well, becoming frustrated or angry, trying to do their jobs with limited resources. But we come to the end, and my vamping has run out as I look for the part which tells me exactly how we do the end of the turn, ending the GM's turn, the player's turn, failure in the end of session. It's in what we fight for. Great.
I mean, if you need more time, I can talk about roll to cast and all those sorts of things while you're looking that up.
Quickly.
Yeah, so to those of you who have joined into the stream for the first time, or maybe you've just plumb forgot, we are Roll to Cast, ROLE. We're a group of Aussie blokes and lasses and the like, and we play TTRPGs, tabletop role-playing games such as Mouse Guard. Our bread and butter, as it were, or our cheese and bread, is our podcast, Roll to Cast, where we play a different game every season. So we've done Cyberpunk Red, Pulp Cthulhu, Kids on Bikes, Vampire the Masquerade. We have an original story and original music that we commission, and one of us takes a turn being the GM, the DM, the keeper, the storyteller, as it were, and the rest of us are player characters. And we do an entire season that roughly spans around average of 20 episodes, contained season, a story, where we get to showcase different tabletop games, different styles, different genres, different tones, comedy, drama, horror, kids on bikes, believe it or not. And so currently the season that we're doing is season 7. We are 7 seasons deep, and we're doing Avatar Legends, the role-playing game, which our dear Chris has been the storyteller for thus far. And so we're ankle deep into the story, and we're slowly wading in further.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically this is a platform for us to show you that as most people know D&D, but there is a plethora, a variety, a multitude of games out there in the atmosphere that you can try. And it's a chance to maybe see something that you can glom onto, that you enjoy, and try out for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And who knows, maybe we do a game and you guys really like it, and then we might do it for a season of Roll to Cast. It's kind of like a little testing ground, but also it's a place where we can have fun. And, there's so many TTRPGs, and we're just 4 tired mice.
That's right. That's right.
And so, yeah, if you'd like to, I'll just get this out the way as well. Not out the way; it's important. If you like what we do, and you'd like to find ways to support us, hey, if you just like to chat with us or kind of be up and around all in our space, social media is a great way to do it. We're on Twitter. Commenting with us here on the YouTube is great. We have a Discord as well, and also to keep the lights running and to keep being able to do what we do. We do have a Patreon, which I believe is in this here stream here. You can see patreon.com/roll2cast, and for as little as $5 dues, you can help support us. And we have different tiers up to and including being an extra player on Roll to Cast Live. You might jump into a higher tier and say, I want to do this month's stream because I only want to play an Ellen's game as a GM. Mm-hmm. And you can absolutely do that.
Oh my god, they could be the GM?
No, they could be a player. They could be a player as Ellen as the GM.
As Ellen as GM.
Yes. But yeah, so that's the way you can support us. That's it. And yeah, that's kind of the nuts and bolts of what we do and how you can help support us. I'll
Thank you,
shut up
Sean.
now.
Thank you. No,
Thanks,
this is very
Sean.
important. It's very important. And good to squeeze that in before the last part of the session. So we'll start with the patrol leader, Dane. What's your belief?
My belief is that reason is the best guide to action.
Do we believe your actions in the game reflected your belief? What do we think, guys?
That seemed to embody most of how Dane went about making decisions. Is what's the straightforward, reasonable course of action?
Okay, mark a fate point for us.
I would disagree.
Oh, disagree?
Okay.
Oh, disagree.
Yeah.
Please.
I'd say the argument with the townspeople. There's no reason why taking on 3 crows is the safest way, is the reason thing. It's one guard against like the mayor and an assistant. And it didn't feel as though you had all the information before making the informed, reasoned out decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually quite agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was you leapt in to sort of support the position, but it perhaps wasn't the kind of the logical thing to pass out. So yeah, maybe we'll hold off on your fate point. That's okay. We can get.
Well, I attacked. Chris defended. Now, so Chris, you roll, and we'll see whose argument won out. You very much won that. Yeah.
That's how debating works.
Your goal?
If only.
What was your goal?
My goal was to get the jars from Sandmason and bring them home.
So we haven't brought them home yet.
No.
So you're working towards your goal. You have worked towards it. You've secured the jars, which is great. So earn 1 fate point for that.
Yay.
And then your instinct.
My instinct is to check the weather each morning. We only had one morning.
Well, you leapt ahead and you were like, I'm going to go check the weather. So that was perfectly done. So yes, earn a fate point for that as well. Let's go next, senior. I know you're older, but in terms of patrol hierarchy, we'll go to Quentin. What's your belief?
My belief is that all possibilities should be explored for the well-being of the guard.
Do we feel like that was how Quentin played?
I mean, you were the one to scout out the actual escape path, which no one else had done, and got yourself injured in the process.
I would also point towards the combat, though, where it felt like Quentin took a position very early on and was pretty hardline on that, as opposed to exploring both sides and taking a more let's hear out and explore both of those.
I would say that because I took the 2 dice against me for being quiet, that actually in the combat, Quentin didn't do a whole lot. And he was actually quite reserved in listening to what the opposing force had to say. He got kind of thrust into the position of leading that combat, but then when it happened, he was like, well, fair enough.
I don't feel you explored lots of different possibilities. You know, you weren't going, hey, what if we rigged up some sort of trap for the crows? What if we did this? So I feel like it didn't leap out to me that you were exploring lots of possibilities. So we'll say that your belief was not quite acted upon. And what's your goal?
My goal was that Robin was protected from danger, which he is.
He is, yeah.
I'd say that.
So this session, you actually accomplished your goal, so you'll have to write a new one next session.
You're hurt, not me.
Accomplishing your goal actually earns you a persona point.
Cool.
Nice.
One of those. And then your instinct?
My instinct is always draw maps, which I did.
Great. Add a fate point for that.
Yes.
Yay.
Awesome.
Young Robin.
Hello.
What's your belief?
So his belief is I must embody the true ideals of the guard.
What do we think, guys?
Well, the true ideals of the guard are to put others above ourselves.
Work for the greater good.
Yeah, for the greater good.
Which I would argue he did so with the sign and looking to go and warn others against that at the behest of potentially himself going up to the surface.
I think so. Like it's yeah.
I also think
so.
In the conflict you
jumped in and you were
saying this is what the guard is about.
Yep.
We are here to fight, to protect with strength of arms. It may be foolish, but I feel like you were trying to embody the ideals of the guard. And
Yeah.
I think putting that sign up, thinking of others who might come this way to trade,
Yeah.
or whatever, I think tips you over. And so get a
Yeah.
fate point for acting on your belief. And then
Cool. My goal was to have. I didn't write it down per se, but it was to have Quentin believe. What was the wording I used? Is have Quentin believe that he.
Was it accept me or promote me as a member of the guard?
It was
Like that?
it was have Quentin. Let me say it in a shitty roundabout way, and you'll extrapolate what I'm trying to say. Is he wants
we write them
Quentin to believe that he embodies the ideals of a guard? Is I must have Quentin.
I must impress Quentin.
It was impressed, wasn't it? Yeah, I
Something
must.
like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I must. Impress Quentin. Basically,
Quentin,
was the
were you
idea.
impressed?
I don't think so.
Did Robin?
It's
even
nice when
work
you can have a
towards
yes or
impressing
no
you?
one.
No, like I did things. For example, I specifically said I went away to do this thing. Like it wasn't anything that was like, "Hey, Quentin, I did good, right? Like I'm doing this thing," and we didn't really interact that much.
Or even like touching base with Quentin to like ask for instruction.
Instruction or
It
feedback
was like
or anything like that.
I'm gonna like design a sign. It's like okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
remember
exactly.
remember those that your goals in play. So you could have been like, you could have said, "Hey, I'm doing this to play towards your
exactly.
goal a little bit." And what's your instinct?
My instinct is always create useful things in my free moments, which I did.
Yeah. So
Very
add a fate
useful.
point for that.
Yeah. True fates.
Okay. So we have a couple of awards to hand out. One person can be the MVP. Only one player can be the MVP. So the MVP award goes to the player who made the crucial role so that the patrol could complete its mission. Who
Well,
came
we
in
didn't really.
clutch?
Yeah, we didn't complete our mission.
We haven't.
mission.
Yeah,
Well,
we
your
haven't
mission was to-
completed our mission.
Well, I would say you secured the jars.
Oh well, then Ellen.
I would say if we
Or-
finished
Yeah.
our
or-
like if we
Or
Find out what's going on was another thing we had to do.
yes, or I would give it to the other option is to give it to Quentin for finding the hidden mice,
yes.
for discovering that they had hidden in the burrows, and that is where all the mice had gone. That was a pretty
Yeah,
important moment.
That's what had happened. Like we're
Yeah.
like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we feel that's the MVP moment?
I guess it makes most sense because we haven't brought the jars back home.
Yeah.
Yep. So
We had to do two things. Is we had to bring the jars back and also figure out what's going on, and we have figured out what's going on.
Yeah, we've
for
succeeded.
deftly scouting out the hidden and terrified mice, I give the MVP. We give the MVP award to Quentin.
Here you go, Chris. Take the award.
Thank you.
This gives you a
Beautiful.
persona.
Oh wow!
A persona point, so this enables you to tap nature in the future as you wish.
So do they continue? Do they accumulate, or is it just one?
You can
Do you just
earn
keep
up to
racking
4
them up?
per session. You just keep
Okay,
racking them
great.
up. Yeah.
Cool.
So
Cool.
be sure to use them. And then workhorse. Sometimes one player carries the group through a lot of tough stuff. This character has all the right skills. He makes all the rolls to keep things moving. The workhorse award is for him, and gets a persona point. The group decides who's the workhorse for the session. You can't be both MVP and workhorse. Only one player per session can be the workhorse, and you
Well,
don't have to. We don't have to have one.
I mean, I feel Ellen did a lot of roles. I definitely did a lot less, and you're also accumulating checks and doing a whole bunch of things. Like I think you were pretty active throughout the session in terms of engaging and doing things.
I was definitely looking for opportunities to lead the guard. So I felt like most of the definitely had to do a lot of extra roles
And talking first and
Yeah.
then get
I actually think there's a really easy way of checking is to see how many rolls people have made by looking at your passes and failures.
Yeah.
I've rolled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in terms of skilled rolls that weren't in combat.
It's hard to check because I rolled a lot without skills.
Well, that's sort of what I mean, like skills and abilities, like just those ones, the ones that
Yeah.
have passes and fails.
I think
How
I
many do you-
did.
how many-
I think I did 3.
Okay,
Oh,
so you've
okay.
got 3 checks and marks there.
I've got
Yeah.
at least 5, but I
think so.
I didn't get to print out a character sheet, so I'm trying
Oh,
to keep
okay.
track.
Yeah, yeah,
Then,
yeah.
I'd say it's probably
I'm
Ellen.
gonna say
I'd say
I'm gonna
Ellen,
say-
yeah.
I'm gonna say Ellen as patrol leader stepped up and tried to find
Yeah.
practical ways to do things. Persona point for you.
Yay.
And then lastly, we have embodiment. So it can be awarded to more than one player, but it cannot be awarded to everyone. If no one really captured the character this session, the award does not have to be given out. So if you use an accent, describe all your actions in vivid detail.
You're a little bit off mic there, Phil.
If you use an accent, describe all your actions in vivid detail, or bring your belief, goal, or instinct to play in a cool way, you can earn a persona point. Sean always brings a cool voice to his character, so I really liked that. And I also like the way Chris actually leaned into quiet as his trait and really found a way to roleplay while still keeping that quiet trait in play. Those are my votes. Those two, the two of them.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, good discussion.
Yes,
guys. Good
yes,
discussion.
I am happy for that. Yes.
Am I miffed because I stuck black contacts into my eyes for nothing? No.
You would have done it regardless.
That's true.
That's
I
right.
would have.
That's right. You can't just cheat at embodiment by putting on makeup. That doesn't work.
Yes,
Sorry.
you can.
That's called Phil. That's called acting.
Acting.
Yeah.
That's the
Sorry.
entire industry.
So a
that's
persona
that's
point
putting
for the two of you.
Colin Farrell into
Johnny
a penguin
Depp has
suit.
made an entire career out of that.
I put on
Exactly.
white gloves.
Oh,
That
excellent.
takes a lot.
Persona point
Oh.
for you. So yeah, up to 4 persona points. Persona points for Chris and Sean.
Yay. Persona point.
Persona points. So yeah, these are used for tapping nature in moments of dire need, where you can just dump your nature in dice on top of any other roll.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah, it does-
crazy.
If you still fail, you reduce your
Okay,
nature
cool.
though. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
So that is a session of Mouse Guard, a GM's turn, and a player turn. If we were to go on, we would then do a GM's turn, where I take them through the obstacles inherent in leading all the mice to safety and getting them to Lockhaven. That would probably be our next session. And then we might be tasked with actually sorting out the crow problem later on in the season and actually recovering the town wholesale. But for now, that's where we leave it. The guard have put themselves on the line to find out what has happened and secure supplies for Lockhaven. If we ever revisit Mouse Guard, that's where we'll pick it up, avoiding snakes and such on the way back to Lockhaven. But for now, we've discussed the Patreon and everything. If you want to stay here on YouTube, do give us a subscribe, like the video that you're currently watching. And leave a comment once it becomes a video rather than a stream that you're on. All things that are helpful. And if you want to check out the podcast, as we've said, it is here on YouTube, but it's also on podcatchers. And here on YouTube, there's all sorts of other content. All our previous live streams are here for you to check out. And all of our podcasts are here as well. There's also a wonderful video essay made by our lovely Ellen on the subject of dice. Please give that a look. It is hilarious and awesome, and it's very well researched and very well shot. Lots of costume changes. As you can see, one of Ellen's talents is costuming.
Hello.
So yeah, please do give that a go. And if you want to support us, I will say again, Patreon is the best way to do that. Even if you don't, we thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and commenting. It's really appreciated. I have been Phil.
There's one more thing that we need to talk about before we sign off.
I always
Is
forget
it next
something.
week?
Ellen, would you like to talk about what's going to be happening
Yes,
next
please,
month
please
on
do,
Roll to
please
Cast
do.
Live?
Absolutely. I would very much.
you.
As well, next week is a huge week for us coming into the next month because we're going to be celebrating three years of Roll to Cast.
Yes.
So if you would like to give us a birthday present, a 3-year birthday present, do all the things that Sean and Phil have already talked about, like us, subscribe, do all of that kind of good stuff, Patreon, and join us again next month, the last Sunday of the month for different time zones. It may be a different day. We will post close to the date what exactly the time zone is, so you can double check. But next month it will be me hosting. That's right. And I, the squirrely little rodent that I am, have secured a special guest for the next episode of Roll to Cast Live. It is Doug Lewandowski, one of the creators of Kids on Bikes, Kids on Brooms, and Teens in Space. I believe that's right, Teens in Space. I always get it confused with the Artol Zorian one.
Yeah.
I think it's Teens in Space. Let me check.
It
But
is
you keep talking.
Teens in Space.
There you
I've
go.
Yeah,
got it
great.
here.
Very good.
So that will be the choice. Yes, I have cheated slightly because they're all the same system, but with such a special guest as the creator of those games, I felt it kind of fitting that we do at least play a game that he made. So please join in for that. As you know, we have already played Kids on Bikes for a season of Roll to Cast, which you can always check out. That's season 5, Mystery Down Under, also GM'd by myself. So make sure that you tune in next month, last Sunday, same usual time, same bat place, same mouse place, whatever.
So it means that with that choice, no matter what is chosen, Doug Lewandowski is going to be on the stream and involved. And if you want to be involved in that choice, that's what the patron's for. So our patrons are the ones who vote for which of those 3 it's going to be. So if you'd like to be involved with that, or that's it. If you'd like to be involved with that, vote. Voting is important.
True.
Yes.
The democracy that is Roll to Cast cannot survive without it. Otherwise, it's going to go autocrat station, baby.
So follow our social media. That's Roll to Cast on Twitter, or join our Discord. I believe the link has been posted.
Yes, someone's
it'll
posted
be in
it.
our general announcement area, not just in our patrons area, and you can find out when we're doing that. Saturday night in the US, Sunday for us. Please come back next month. We'd love to have you. It's always fun to play these live games for you. We love it so much. Thank you for being here. I have been Phil.
I've been Ellen.
Yeah.
Senior.
I've been Chris.
And I have been Sean.
Mwah. Bye.
Thanks so much, everybody. Goodbye.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.